Welcome to Primeval Scope, where we journey back to a time when our planet was a wild and unforgiving battleground. There were moments in Earth's history when life was not guaranteed, and survival was a privilege earned through blood and struggle. In this ancient era, there was no compassion for the weak, no second chances for mistakes, and absolutely no safety anywhere. The world was divided into two simple categories: the predator and the prey, locked in an eternal dance of death and survival. This is not a fantasy story from a book. This is the brutal reality of Earth tens of millions of years ago. Welcome to the Primeval Scope channel, your guide to the lost epochs where nature ruled with an iron and merciless fist. In the primeval era, the world operated under a single, unbreakable law that dictated the fate of every living creature here. Only the fittest would survive, while those who could not adapt were swiftly erased from the pages of history forever. The ground was never peaceful, as danger lurked behind every tree and beneath every stone, waiting for a moment of weakness. Every forest was a battlefield where silence was a weapon, and every ocean was a deadly trap for the unwary traveler. The massive creatures that walked this planet did not just exist to survive. They were born to dominate their entire ecosystem. One of the most terrifying icons of that age was the Tyrannosaurus Rex, a name that still evokes fear today. It was not feared simply because it was the largest, but because it was the most efficient killing machine ever created. Every part of the T-Rex body had evolved for a single purpose: to hunt, to kill, and to consume flesh. Its jaws possessed the power to crush solid bone in a single bite, delivering a fatal blow to any opponent. Its sense of smell was sensitive enough to detect a rotting carcass from distances that no other predator could perceive. And those powerful legs allowed it to move much faster than its prey could ever imagine in their worst nightmares. When a T-Rex appeared on the horizon, the only choice for prey was to pray they had not yet been seen. But dominance did not only exist on the land. The terror of the prehistoric world extended far beyond the forest edge. Beneath the ancient waves, a threat even more terrifying than the T-Rex was waiting silently in the cold darkness. Meet the Mosasaurus, the undisputed apex predator of the prehistoric oceans, a ruler of the deep who feared nothing. It moved without sound and without warning, a ghost in the water that struck before its presence was ever known. There was only a moment of silence, followed by a violent surge that dragged victims down into the eternal blackness. The Mosasaurus did not need to chase its prey. It was an ambush predator that relied on surprise and power. And when it decided to attack, everything ended in mere seconds, leaving no trace of the victim behind. In that world, the ocean was not a shelter. It was the domain of death, where safety was an illusion. Back on land, size was not always the deciding factor, and brute strength was not the only path to victory. The velociraptor stands as the clearest proof that intelligence and speed can be far more deadly than sheer size. Small, fast, and incredibly smart, these creatures were the tactical geniuses of the Cretaceous period, feared by many larger beasts. They did not hunt alone. They coordinated their attacks, communicating with each other to outmaneuver their confused and panicked victims. They calculated angles and timing, turning the chaotic hunt into a strategic operation that left no room for escape. When a raptor appears in front of you, the real danger is not the one you can see with your eyes. The true threat lies with the ones you do not see, waiting in the shadows to strike when you turn. Intelligence became a weapon, and their pack tactics were often more dangerous than the raw power of a solitary giant. Even the sky was not safe, for the heavens belonged to creatures that defied our understanding of physics and flight. Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying creature to ever exist, covered the ground with its shadow, bringing terror from the clouds. With a wingspan that rivals a small airplane, it was not just an animal. It was a living nightmare. It was a symbol of fear from above, proving that death could descend upon you from the sky at any moment. In the primeval world, there was truly no place that could be considered safe for the weak or the slow. Not on the solid land, not in the deep sea, and certainly not in the vast open skies above. But the most terrifying thing in this ancient epoch was not the predators with their teeth and their claws. The true enemy was the Earth itself, a volatile planet capable of unleashing destruction on a global scale. Volcanic eruptions lasted for thousands of years, poisoning the air and turning the world into a toxic wasteland. Climate-changing meteors struck with the force of 1 billion bombs, altering the destiny of the planet in an instant. Ice ages came and went, freezing the tropical paradises and wiping out entire ecosystems that could not endure the cold. Extinction was not an exception in this history. It was a fundamental part of the natural law of life. The strongest creatures that ever existed still vanished, leaving only their bones as a testament to their former glory. They did not disappear because they were weak, but because the world changed faster than they could possibly adapt. That is the harsh truth of natural history, a lesson written in stone for all future generations to read.
And this is also the greatest lesson that the primeval world has left behind for us to understand today. Power does not guarantee survival, and dominance does not mean eternity, no matter how invincible one might seem. Only adaptation decides who gets to stay and who fades away into the forgotten layers of the earth. At Primeval Scope, we explore these lost eras not just to look back, but to understand our own present. Because even though the world today has changed, the fundamental laws of survival have never truly disappeared from existence. The past is still whispering to us, carrying secrets of survival that are relevant to every living being today. And if you listen closely enough to history, you will understand why it has a tendency to repeat itself. Let us look deeper into the life of the Tyrant King, examining the details that made it a biological masterpiece. The skeletal structure of the T-Rex was a marvel of engineering, built to support tons of weight while sprinting. Its skin was tough as armor, protecting it from the claws of rivals and the harsh elements of nature. But even monsters had families, and the T-Rex was likely a protective parent, guarding its lineage with fierce dedication. Survival skills were taught from birth, ensuring that the next generation would continue the legacy of the apex predator. In the deep blue, the Mosasaurus also raised its young, teaching them the art of the ambush in darkness. Life in the ocean was unforgiving, and young predators had to learn quickly or become food for something else. Communication was the key to the raptors' success, a language of violence that allowed them to conquer larger foes. Hierarchy within the pack was strict, and only the strongest and smartest could lead the group into the hunt. High on the cliffs, the Quetzalcoatlus maintained its gear, for a damaged wing meant certain death for a flyer.
Taking flight was a monumental effort, requiring immense strength to lift a creature the size of a giraffe skyward. We must not forget the herbivores, who evolved distinct defenses like horns and armor to survive this arms race. They were not helpless victims. Many were walking tanks capable of killing a predator with a single strike. The Ankylosaurus carried a bone-shattering club on its tail, a weapon that commanded respect from even the T-Rex. When the sun went down, the world changed again, and the night hunters emerged to claim their share of blood. Creatures like the Troodon used their large eyes and superior night vision to exploit the darkness for their gain. Every sunrise brought new challenges, and every sunset was a victory for those who lived to see it happen.
Fire was a frequent visitor, clearing the old forests to make way for new growth in a painful cycle.
But nature is resilient, and life always found a way to return, even after the most devastating local disasters. It was a world of giants, from the reptiles on the ground to the insects buzzing in the air. In the rivers, giant crocodiles like Dinosaurus waited patiently, proving that the dinosaur design was not the only success. These ancient crocodiles were living fossils, using a blueprint for survival that has remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. But no amount of claws, teeth, or armor could protect them from the cosmic bullet heading their way. The day the asteroid struck was the day the rules changed forever, ending the reign of the giant reptiles. The impact unleashed energy equivalent to millions of nuclear weapons, instantly incinerating everything within a massive radius of destruction. Mega tsunamis swept across the continents, and earthquakes shattered the ground, creating a hellscape that few could hope to survive. Photosynthesis stopped, plants died, and the herbivores starved, followed closely by the carnivores who had nothing left to eat. The kings of the world were reduced to scavengers, wandering a dying planet until they too succumbed to the inevitable. It was a tragic end to a magnificent dynasty, a reminder of how fragile life can be on Earth. But in the ashes of the giants, the small and the adaptable found an opportunity to rise and thrive. The age of reptiles ended, giving way to the age of mammals, eventually leading to the rise of humanity. We are the descendants of those survivors, carrying the legacy of adaptation in our DNA and our history. We may not have the claws of a raptor or the size of a titan, but we have memory. Through science, we can look back and piece together the stories of those who walked here before us. Technology allows us to resurrect these beasts digitally, learning from their biology and their ultimate fate on this planet. Studying their extinction helps us understand the fragility of our own ecosystem and the dangers of rapid climate change. The Earth is changing again, and the lesson of the dinosaurs is more relevant now than ever before. We are witnessing a new wave of extinction, and we must decide if we will adapt or perish. Let the roar of the T-Rex remind us that no rain lasts forever, and humility is necessary for survival. Let the silence of the Mosasaurus remind us that danger often comes from where we least expect it to. Let the intelligence of the raptor teach us that working together is the only way to overcome insurmountable odds. And let the shadow of the Quetzalcoatlus inspire us to look up and explore the world beyond our reach. The primeval world was a crucible of life, a test of endurance that shaped the very history of existence. It is a story written in blood and bone, a narrative that belongs to all of us living today. We keep these stories alive so that we never forget where we came from and what came before us. Primeval Scope is dedicated to bringing this past to life, using technology to bridge the gap of millions of years. The rocks are silent, but with the right tools and the right mind, they can speak volumes to us. Every ripple in the water, every gust of wind carries the echo of the time when giants walked the earth. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the deep past, exploring the wonders of the prehistoric world. Their time has passed, but their legacy remains, etched into the very foundation of the world we live in. If you enjoyed this journey, please take a moment to reflect on the incredible history of our planet Earth. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Primeval Scope for more documentaries on the hidden history of nature.
Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts and help us grow our community of explorers and time travelers. Check out our other videos to discover more about the Ice Age giants and the monsters of the deep. The past is never truly dead. It is just waiting for someone curious enough to dig it up again. We will see you in the next episode, where we will uncover more secrets from the primeval scope of history. This has been Primeval Scope. Thank you for watching.